Wanda, are we live? Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. This May 17th meeting of the Madera County Board of Supervisors is called to order. Council, are there any other additions to the agenda?
There are no additions to the agenda.
Okay. Rhonda, do you have anything?
Yes, per staff's request, I would like to pull item 6J.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
6J's discussion and consideration of entering into an agreement with High Speed Rails Authority contractor Tudor Carini Zachary Parsons for use of a county-owned well on Road 29 South as a construction water source, and authorize the Public Works Director to issue and execute the agreement. Staff request.
Yeah. Okay, Ben, is there anything from the public on closed session? Or read closed session into record, please.
We have 5 items today, or the board has 5 items today. Government Code Section 54957.6, the county negotiators are Adrian Caleb and Ken Caves. The employee organization are all units. Performance evaluation, the title of the position is County Administrative Officer, and that's pursuant to Government Code Section 54957. There are 2 existing litigation cases pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, subsection D1. One is Guadagnini versus the County of Madera, and the other is the County of Madera versus T. Travis. And the last item is anticipated litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 546.9, subsection D2, significant exposure to litigation, and there is 1 case only.
Thank you. Let's go to closed session. Anything from the public before we go to closed session? Okay, thank you. Back to work.
metaphorical.
So we got it on the public agenda, so that you don't want to have the transcript.
You want me to sign it?
Okay, okay.
You want me to sign it?
Found me, it's like you died and went to heaven, man. You
Rolling
didn't
Hills.
know it.
The water.
Or one? Okay, I'll do that right now. Let me,
Shit, I've been on it my whole life.
Unfortunately, sometimes.
Doing, how are you?
Welcome. I talked to Trevor yesterday, and he was kind of telling me what you told him. And I did tell him to call me and set up a meeting so we can talk about for you when it's slow.
You're getting old, man. Low. You know.
Good to see you again.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. County Council, do you have anything to report?
Yes, Chairman and members of the board, there is one reportable action from closed session, and that is related to closed session 2E an elephant, the litigation between the County of Madera and T. Travis has settled. The board, on a motion by Supervisor Frazier and seconded by Supervisor Wheeler, on a vote of 5-0 in favor of entering into a settlement agreement and release. That agreement was entered into between Terrence Travis and Teresa Travis, and they were doing business as 2T's Mini Storage and the County of Madera. This will settle the litigation that was filed back in November of 2008. And that's the only reportable action.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's go to invocation. Pastor Purcell, would you please come and lead us in? Purcell here? No Pastor Purcell. I'll be done. Okay. Mr. Rogers, would you please?
I'll be happy to do it. Would you join me in prayer? Father in heaven, we thank you for this opportunity to gather together as community members and friends. We're so grateful for the rains of this year, and we ask for your continued blessing upon our community in the area of water. Such a great concern for us, and we know that all good things come from you, and we just thank you for your blessings upon us, all your provision. We thank you for those who have sacrificed their lives for our country and those who continue to stand watch on the wall. And we ask today that you'd be with them, those young men and women who are guarding our freedom. Protect them against their enemies and our enemies, and help them to feel supported at home and loved. And we just thank you for the wisdom that you grant us. We pray that we would seek your wisdom in all our deliberations. And may you bless us this day as we try to do your business. In Jesus' name, amen.
Again, please pay attention to our citizens that have died in the last 2 weeks. The one I would like to mention is Roy Lopez. He worked for me at Georgia Pacific for over 20-some years, and I think he ended with 29 years out there and then retired. A great man. The thing I remember about Roy, all those years, he didn't miss one day of work, all those years. And Tilly, just a wonderful person, and very sad. And then we lost Sally Von Pressy's mother, Jean Cockle, and nice lady. Sally and I have been, because of our loss, we're basically talking to each other through her pains, and it's very interesting how similar it is when you have an older adult parent that goes through the same thing as everybody else goes through in their life. So, Tom, do you have any?
Yes, Leon, for one thing, Nemo passed away. That wrote some great articles in the paper, Madera Tribune. But I wanted one that's not on here. He's from Fresno County, but Mr. Bud Olson. I spent over 9 years on the Sierra High School board with him. He was a year behind me in high school. His dad was a teacher there, and he was a teacher at Sierra Elementary, and he had a heart attack and died Thursday. And there was nobody that done more for kids than Bud Olson did in that area, in Albury, Prather, even Norfolk, when Norfolk was still part of Sierra High School when I was still on the board. His whole life was dedicated to that. And the big loss, we're going to have a service next Sunday at Sierra High Gym, and I guarantee you there'll probably be 2,000 people there. So that's how well liked he was. So thank you very much.
There's a lady here that I like to mention. Her name is Beatrice Lucero, and she was 92 years old when she passed away a couple of days ago. And she was a great lady. She knew everybody in town, all the old timers. Of course, not the, but she knew everybody, and she knew everything that was happening in the community up to the last couple of years. But she was a great lady.
I wanted to mention Barry Crow. He was my vice principal in middle school. Got to know him very well sitting in his office many days. But he was just a great force in the community. He was always there with a smile, and heart goes out to Marcia. And then also Leon Emo, always had a smile on his face, always wrote just positive columns, and you like to show up in his column, whereas sometimes else you don't like to show up in other people's columns. And so we'll miss him and his shorts. Doesn't matter how cold it was. So Leon, I'm sure he's on a trip to the desert right now. So yeah, miss him.
Thank you. Brett, would you like to say the
Oh, absolutely.
flag salute, please?
Please join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Consent calendar items.
I got a couple, Mr. Chair.
Okay, go for it.
On item AB, for one thing, instead of 4, it says FYOR. You should probably correct that. Huh? Oh, okay. And was this presented to the staff? Whoever, Ahmad? To the 22A committee, I'm sorry. It's for that spray field, and why is it so much for operation and maintenance manual? Is that what that 300-some thousand for?
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. Ahmad Al-Kayat, Public Works. For item AB, yes, it has been discussed with the MD22A committee, and what's in front of us here is a requirement by the USDA and the Regional Water Quality Control Board to amend our permit to include a maintenance maintenance, and
Operation
operations
maintenance
maintenance.
manual.
Correct, manual. So that was not included originally in
And
the
it costs
scope of work.
$300,000 to
No.
get one of those?
No, this will cost about $35,000.
Well, the request is for $323,000, I think, 327.268.
All right, if I'm looking at that,
Bill's coming up, maybe he's going to save you here.
maybe. Yeah. Is Bill here? Yeah, Bill.
Yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. The actual cost of the O&M manual is $22,000 with a $2,200 contingency. What you see in front of you is the total cost paid to the consultant to date, including this
So-
amendment.
Well, the way it's read, I thought it said this was extra money over and above they've already been paid.
This is in addition to what they've been paid, but what we're tracking is the total amount paid to the consultant. So the 327 is...
I'm going to go in the consultant business. I get 20 times more than I make here, so I can make those kind of decisions. Thank you, guys. Then on AE, the letter for the from the Bureau of Reclamation, Bureau is spelled wrong on that too. You got it B-U-R-E-A-R, AE. Other than that, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I have one item.
Dave?
I just wanted to ask Dennis about item D here real quick.
What item?
D, as in dog. I know that our contract right now is at 460 or 440?
Yes, 460.
460, and there's a jump to 540, and then another leap next year to 600,000.
Correct.
And that first leap is like $80,000.
Right.
So,
Right.
and I know, is this, I mean, that's expensive and getting more so. 10% increase after the first year.
Right.
After a big leap of about 20%.
Second one down.
So 30% more. That's a
Yeah,
lot.
and what's driving it, we contract with a number of telepsych services, so, most of our psychiatric services, psychiatry services, when our clients come in to meet with a psychiatrist to either be evaluated, put on medication, or monitor that medication, is done through telepsych services, as in, quite honestly, in most counties.
Right.
Psychiatrists are just hard to find. There's a nationwide shortage. And what's happening is, as our numbers of clients that are needing that service, the competition is becoming just much more fierce. It's market forces that are driving of those costs that we're competing with that. When we look at some of the costs, on the other side, when we look at some of the costs of hiring a psychiatrist fully benefited and that the cost per hour, it's about what it would cost us. And our psychiatrists now under telepsych, we purchase hours from them. So we have slots in the day, and we have a television in a special room where we have one of our staff in there meeting with them, taking notes and following the direction of the psychiatrist. So
Yeah.
it's costly.
Well, I totally trust you in your evaluation of this thing, but my thoughts were, you come to the point where is television psychiatry more efficient than having somebody on site for the same dollar?
Oh, definitely not. If I could have someone on site, if I could find that.
See, that's what I'm thinking.
We would definitely rather have them on site.
And if it's dollar for dollar, I would say, let's investigate that.
Oh, well, it is one of my major goals every year is how to bring telepsych services in. And it is a challenge.
Yeah, I think there's a whole set of communication things that happen when a person's in front of you rather than on television, and you even sense their body language, they're shaking or whatever,
Right.
whatever
Right.
it might be that tells you there's an issue there, and I would think an on-site
I would
person.
imagine the trust factor, too.
Well, no doubt. This is our plan B, no doubt. Our
Right.
plan A is that we have looked, tried to recruit. We pay more here in Madera we have offered more for psychiatrists here in Madera than they offer in San Diego. And other places. So it's not the cost. They prefer to live where there's beaches. And really what happens is they prefer to live in communities where there's more resources too, as far as hospitals, inpatient psychiatric center, psychiatric residential. But
Especially since they can do it, they can telecommute. They get all of their clients near the ocean, and
Yeah.
then they still
Yeah.
get us to pay them $540
Well,
to $600,000 a year.
actually, one of our psychiatrists lives in Israel.
Wow.
Because of the, you know, how it works. It is a, especially for child psychiatry, we have two things forces. That we can't get someone to come here, and not just our county. Most of the counties in California use telepsych services. Yeah, and, but.
I don't want you to take my questions as a sign of mistrust of you, but my thoughts were, I was thinking, wow, seems like I could get somebody in front of us for that.
I remember when we were at the management meeting, and that was one of our issues. And it's an issue that we look at every day.
Sure.
About how could we get our medical director, we have one full-time psychiatrist here, and Dr. Collado, been with us for a long time. And the day he retires, it is going to be a struggle. It is going to be a struggle. Hopefully he doesn't.
Well, it's interesting because, I'm on the board of behavioral health, and you've been trying for 2 years, at least, trying to get a psychiatrist here on staff. And we just can't do it because of all the things that are going on in our world today, in our schools, and the shootings and all that stuff. And we have a shortage of psychiatrists, and especially child psychiatrists. And it's very interesting per capita how many child psychiatrists.
Tell them we'll put a big screen in our office with the ocean roaring in the background and a little sand in there just to make them feel at home.
We did have some discussions with Fresno, is looking at working with University of San Francisco on a residency program, and would we be part of that also, so that we would have enough to offer them? And we said, of course, she knew that, but met with me actually last week. We were at a meeting together and discussed those options, how we could look at that. It's a challenge, and it's really a challenge for our clients.
I was looking into a child psychiatrist in Fresno, and it takes anywhere from 8 months to a year to get in to see them.
Wow.
As impacted as county behavioral health is, on the private side, if you have private insurance, you can get into my clinic faster to see a psychiatrist.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
There you go. Right there.
You're doing a great job, Dennis.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dennis. Any other questions from the board? I have one question on, which one is this? K, on the public defenders, the $150,000. Is that because of Prop 47? Because I remember going up to Sacramento and fighting Prop 47, and the defenders were for Prop 47 because it would make caseload a lot easier.
Hi, good morning. Nicole Desmond, County Administration. The increase in the budget is due to the fact that we are mandated by the state to pay the public defenders. It is not associated with Prop 47.
Yeah, but it says here on the thing that basically it's more than what the budget was?
Yes, every year we try to project the special circumstance cases, and that's what this is directly related to. There's no way for us to know for sure what those will be. It's based on what the DA files.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions from the public on any of the consent calendar items?
Item M.
M as in money.
Okay.
It's my understanding these tobacco funds can be used on any structure for improvement. We have fire stations, we have health facilities, we have road department. They could all use improvements in their system and in their facilities. Is this really the best that you could find to spend this on? Starbucks for the Granite Palace?
Yeah, the funds are being borrowed. They'll be paid back.
Didn't see that in here.
Yeah, they'll be paid back through the agreement with their.
Through the lease option that we've done for 2 years, it all gets paid back.
If I could clarify, Mr. Chairman, these particular funds are coming out of capital funds. They're going to be used to develop the infrastructure that's needed to plug in the kiosk. So this is a new amount, and it's not part of the Airmark contract. This is to prepare the site for the kiosk that'll be coming in. So in time, we want this, and we're very hopeful that this will be profitable, and we'll be able to recover those additional monies in time. But these aren't part of the Airmark contract.
Right. Thank you. Okay. Good to know. Anybody else from the public? Bring it back to the board.
I move that we approve item 4, consent calendar, with the 2 corrections. She'd already done one.
Okay, Tom has first, Max has a second. Vote, please.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you. Okay, public comment?
Public comment. The first 15 minutes of each regular session is set aside for members of the public to comment on any item within the jurisdiction of the board, but not appearing on the agenda. Items presented under public comment may not be discussed or acted upon by the board at this time. For items appearing on the agenda, the public is invited to comment at the time the item is called for consideration by the board. Any person addressing the board under public comment will be limited to a 3-minute presentation to ensure that all interested parties have an opportunity to speak. Any handouts to the board must be submitted to the chief clerk of the board for distribution to the supervisors. Anyone addressing the board needs to print their name clearly on the speaker sheet at the podium. Also, all persons addressing the board must state their name and county of residence for the record.
Before we get going, Tom, would you like to make a comment?
Yeah, I just, well, we've got all the people here. How many of you out there heard about the California Road Charge Pilot Plan? Have any of you signed up for it? Well, if we don't sign up for it, you just got to remember that the city people are really signing up. They want 5,000 volunteers to do this. I signed up when they first brought it up. If they do the numbers from the city, we are really going to get screwed as rural areas because we travel so many more miles. So we need more people to sign up from a rural area. All you got to do is get on CaliforniaRoadChargePilot.com, sign up. It's really simple. They've been sending me stuff, what to say and do when it starts in July. Please, all of you, sign up for it. It's CaliforniaRoadChargePilot.com. Don't cost you nothing. It's just going to help us have a little say in what they're going to charge us if they do that. The whole state of Oregon is doing the pilot program right now. And I'm glad CAL FIRE's here. They've been sending out stuff. People, this year's going to be a bad year for fires. Please get your places cleaned up and protected because they're going to come no matter what. All this rain, all it did is made more fuel for the grass fires that build up to the big fires. So clean your places. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. David?
Yes, I want to respectfully submit my reasons for support of 5079, HR 5079, and I wasn't here during the discussions, so I wanted to reveal that. I was in the newspaper as supporting it, and my reasons are very simple. The subject of Prop 48 was voted on in 2014, and California defeated Prop 48 by 61%.
For a compact only.
Right.
Only. Okay, make it clear.
Tom, let me finish, okay?
Okay,
I'm
make it
just
clear.
talking respectfully. I know this board disagrees with me on this issue, but I'm revealing why I support H.R. 5079. The state of California defeated Prop 48 by 61%. It was also defeated in Madera County. There was only one county in the state of California that did not defeat the proposition. And very simply, I'm upholding the will of the people. I believe in the vote of the people, and that's all I've wanted from the beginning. I don't believe we should abrogate that. That's my final statement.
Dennis?
Dennis Cook, Director, Department of Behavioral Health Services. As part of May as Mental Health Month, students throughout the state submit short videos for recognition and for a contest. And Madera has, and it has to do with mental health and how do you reduce stigma and discrimination, especially on the school campuses with kids. And so Madera has submitted 3 of them, and 2 of them have won awards. One of them got 2nd place here in our region. You're going to notice on your dais there's invitations when they're going to have filming. They've rented the Tower Theater, Fresno, and Madera combined together. We're going to show all the film, and we're going to show 2 quick ones here. The first one is from Pioneer Technical School.
Have you ever wondered what's real and what's not? People with mental illnesses often wonder the same thing. 1 in 5 teenagers can develop a mental illness in their lifetime. Mental illnesses are hidden illnesses that people don't really talk about. Mental illness puts additional weight on the shoulders of those who suffer because of stress, family problems, and the negativity thrown on them. Students often pick on those with mental illnesses without realizing the reality of their sickness. These actions make it hard to concentrate, reason, and function, leading to isolation from friends and family. Due to those positive people that take a lot of weight off of the shoulders of those with mental illness, a little support of a hug or even just a hi can change a person's mood and self-concept. By showing support, you can remove the roots of the negative vibes and stomp out the detrimental thoughts that were thrown at them. If you or someone you know is suffering from a mental illness, seek help by talking with friends or an adult at school. There are support groups and local and national agencies that provide resources for individuals and families.
And the second, and they're the ones.
Illnesses often wonder the same.
And this next one from Minarets.
Have you ever wondered what's real and what's not? People with
1 in 5 teens will have a serious mental illness in some point of their lives. 11% of teens have a mood disorder that affects their ability to have healthy relationships. 8% of teens have chronic anxiety that diminishes their self-confidence. But help is available. Awareness is the key to taking back control of your life. Start the conversation. Find a friend, family member, or professional that you can talk to. Start the change. Start improving your quality of life. Each mind matters.
Thank you.
That was pretty cool. Wow.
The first one was very powerful.
Forgot to give my name last time up. Dale Drozen. I'm a resident of Fresno County in the process of moving back to Madera County. My primary residence here.
Not course code, I hope.
No, but still in your district. No, I'm not. On your list of names up there, Don Chase was one of them. I think he deserves more than just a name on that board and not to be mentioned. He's been a paid call firefighter in Station 19 for many, many, many years.
Wow.
Lots of times he was the only water tender driver we had. He'd run all over the county. And the times he's given up his family time, holidays, Don was always there for us. He deserves a proclamation from the board.
Thank you for
Thank you,
mentioning that.
Dale.
Thank you, Dale.
Matt Watson, County Fire. Thanks, Dale, for beating me to it. But, yeah, I just wanted, Don Chase was a volunteer for 37 years in Madera County. He served the Madera ranchos in all of Madera County, and he was the only water tender driver a lot of the times that would come out in the middle of the night, during the day. Just a great guy, great family man. He battled his first cancer episode in 1991. Unfortunately, last year he was diagnosed with a different cancer, and he succumbed to it on Monday. So, thanks, Don.
Was he wasn't very big guy?
No, he was about my size, but probably a little thinner.
Thinner, yeah, I know who he. Yeah, he was always there, man.
Yep.
I didn't realize that's who
Great
he was.
man and great community person, great
Wow.
family member. So
Maybe
thank
we
you guys
could
for recognizing him.
maybe we could do a proclamation and present it to.
Chairman, members of the board, Norman Allender, with good news from your planning director. The 2016 American Planning Association has Central Section chapter has chosen Madera County and our partners with McCaffrey Communities to be the 2016 Outstanding Planning Award for Innovation in Green Communities.
Really?
Yes, they'd like to applaud our efforts and create and maintain a vibrant, healthy communities within the Central Section. So this is the second time planning has won a Central Section AP Award. 2013 was the last one. These are the ones in memory that we've ever won. We'll compete at the state level just to show you that perseverance pays off. Thank you.
Very good.
Good morning. Mike Serber, Madera County Fire. This morning I'd like to take a chance to recognize Epler Towing.
Who?
Epler Towing.
Oh, yeah.
We have two of their employees and a daughter of the owner. I'd like to bring them forward, Edward and Ryan. The reason we'd like to recognize them is, one, for their professionalism, their exemplary performance in the job that they do, and supporting the fire and technical and knowledge of the skills that they provide to the fire department. Now, as we recognize them, this is not for your ordinary towing. This is for when they bring out their heavy wreckers that are assisting us in the rescue on these technical rescues. The fire department's limited by the small apparatus that we're able to carry inside our compartments. May 2nd, we had a large rescue that took place up there on Highway 41. We had 6,000 gallons of sewage in a tanker truck laying on top of a car with occupants inside. Now, as you can see, with the equipment we carry, we're not going to be able to get that off that car to get the occupants out. They brought out their large rescue was able to, or large wrecker was able to lift the tanker completely off to where we were able to get underneath it and extricate the people out. Wow. The second instance was on March 10th, where we had a brother of one of our fire departments pass away inside our county on an accident that occurred. It wasn't a small rescue or wasn't a large rescue, but because of the fact that we had a situation where we had Fresno City Fire there, Madera County, and it was one of our own people in respect of our professionalism and our careers, it became a sticky situation. We had multiple jurisdictions, and the professionalism that they provided while waiting by and dealing with the issue of one of our passing of our own, we'd like to recognize them for that.
I'm happy you brought that up, because we actually have a service above and beyond to Madera County residents that we'd like to give you this certification of appreciation. And would you like to say anything, or you guys don't want to? Yeah, it doesn't look like you guys are.
It was our honor to be able to help in service, so our fire teams are amazing. They help out the community at large, and it's our honor to be able to be a part of that and to be able to help assist the community in those circumstances. So thank you for allowing us to help.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay.
Chairman, if it's okay, if we can move 6K up, we have a lot of...
Since we have so many people from the audience in Rolling Hills, we'd like to basically push you forward, and so you don't have to sit here all day and listen to the other stuff. But
you can.
You can if you'd like. But Rhonda, would you read 6K, please?
6K, Board of Directors, Special Districts, County Service Area Number 19, Rolling Hills Public Works Department, Municipal Services Division. Emergency action for work to well within County Service Number 19, Rolling Hills. 1, discussion and consideration of approval of a resolution declaring the public interest and necessity demand the immediate action and expenditure of public money to safeguard life, health, or property in accordance with public contract codes 22050 and 20168, and authorize the county administrative officer or his designee to expend required funds. 4 votes required. 2, discussion and consideration of approval of a resolution authorizing a loan of funds in the amount of $183,000 derived from the DEG Service Trust to County Service Area Number 19 to be appropriated by resolution as unanticipated revenue for buildings and improvements for CSA 19 and to be repaid by CSA Number 19 at a rate to the state quarterly pooled interest rate not to exceed 3%. 3, discussion and consideration of approval of a resolution appropriating unanticipated revenue in the amount of $183,000 transferred from DEG Services Trust to cash flow loan to CSA 19 and appropriating the unanticipated revenue derived from this loan to CSA 19 into buildings and improvements for repairs and rehabilitation to the existing CSA 19 well number 3. 4, discussion and consideration of approval of a resolution authorizing reimbursement of project expenditures.
Come on.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Ahmad Al-Kayat, Public Works Director. Thank you, Rhonda. That was long-winded. Anyway, yeah, we have four resolutions.
You wrote off that. You
Great
wrote
job.
it.
Thank you. I mean, what she said, basically.
Rhonda just removed Public Works Week from the agenda. I was just letting you know.
I was waiting for that, so thank you, Rhonda, again. Yeah, this item in front of us is basically to deal with the Rolling Hills SCA 19 emergency situation that Public Works proactively did everything in their capacity to make sure that they get the appropriate water quality and demand. There's been many meetings with the community and Supervisor Fraser's office and also discussed with your board, I believe. What we need to do here is basically, since we are limited in time, the summer, temperatures are coming upon us. We already put the district or the area, the service area, on stage 4, where there is no outside watering, and started with the work via a PO. And also we seeked help with the state, and they were very cordial, and they came to our meeting and also gave us some startup money. But basically, we cannot wait for the state to fully fund this project. Besides, there's a question about their qualification to receive these funds. Regardless, we have to move forward, and we need this to be declared as a state of an emergency, so this will allow us to go directly and do what we need to do as soon as possible. And I'm here if you have any questions.
Brett? We just need to pass this. We need to get the pump going. We need to get water back to the community. It's down to 50%. There's only one well going. It's the older well. If it keeps on with the demand that it's requiring, that could go out, and then we're in a real big issue. Working with, this is one of the best groups to work with. They're already talking about doing the 218 election. I wish all of my special districts were sending me emails every day. How do we do this 218? How do we get this going? We need to raise our rates. We need to raise our rates to be able to pay for this so that we don't have to be doing this every 3 years. So we need to do this, and I'm ready to make a motion whenever we can.
Out to the public. Oh, David?
Yeah, I just want to say that we're going to run into this a lot more given the circumstances of the removal of surface water delivery to our community overall, and wells are going to be in peril, and we need to step up every time we can to help our people, because this is a health and safety issue, and we need to take care of those situations. That's the job of government, is to protect the citizen, and I look at this as a health and safety issue for our community, so we really need to try, and I think it's great that they're so responsible in their approach to this, and would that everybody was as responsible in every maintenance district. We could take a lesson from them today, and so I just wanted to support.
Anybody else? Dale? Okay, Max?
The fact that you're running out of water, the wells are running out of water, and you see all this planting of trees all around your community. Have you folks gone through Avenue 15, 1 mile from the railroad tracks? They're building a new road there. And my question to the county is, I haven't got an answer yet, Are they going to plant almond trees in that marginal land there also? They used to run cattle. Now they're going to plant something there because they're building a road there for some purpose. And this is what's happening, you know, where we have a drought, and we had a little bit of rain this year, but it's not enough, folks. And we have to start thinking about the future. I have advocated in the last year, even when Ag was here, I advocated a moratorium on planting of new almond trees. And when you mention moratorium, people just go like this. Well, folks, we're at a critical point. We have to do something drastic. We're going to allow, I want to vote for it because I've got 2 districts that are running out of water. Unfortunately, you guys can't connect to the city of Madera like we could in Parkwood.
Right.
That's our safeguard there. So, folks, it's going to get worse and worse and worse, and we have to have a moratorium, a new planting of crop trees out there because people just don't care. It's a lot of greed out there, folks, and it's going to hurt us as individuals. Having said that, I'll take the criticism that comes to me. It doesn't matter, but I have advocated this for the last 2 years, but apparently nobody listens. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The water's sanded in this case. Just to kind of throw that out there.
Yeah.
It's not a loss of the well.
Dale?
That's it from the county.
Dale Drosen, Rolling Hills is where I'm moving to.
Okay. Oh, boy. And Dale, so are my kids, too. They're already out there.
They're already there.
Yeah. Big 6'5"
One of the
guy you'll
reasons
meet.
I chose Rolling Hills was it's a community that stands on its own. They don't ask anybody for anything. If something needs done, they pitch in together and they do it. They needed a well, they passed a bond, and they got a well. This is a loan. It's not a grant. It's not a gift. It's just a loan, and the county's collecting interest on it. With that said, I need to go over to answer what Max just said. I have a place up by Hensley Lake, and 400 now has hundreds of acres being planted. And it makes no sense to plant it out there until you see the final reason. You plant crops on it, you can get water. Then when you tear the crops out in 5 to 10 years, you have water already justified there for the subdivision. So it's not about agriculture. It's about being able to get water justified for the subdivisions that are coming in. That's how they're getting past the water problems. It's already been using water for these plants. The developers, McCaffrey's been working on the development over on the other side of Highway 41 for, 15 years? A lot of developers have been working on that. They plan long range. So up 400, they're planting crops now so that they can get the water justified for the subdivisions that will be going in there in the future. So it needs to be treated that way when we're looking at how fast our water tables are going down. Thank you, Max.
Thank you, Dale. How you doing?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ralph Tonseth. It's my pleasure to be the president of the Rolling Hills Citizens Association, and I would like to just correct one thing for the record. I thought that Rhonda's reading of the item was splendidly done, and one to be commemorated for a long time, Rhonda.
It's now Ralph Tonseth Week instead of Public Works Week. So.
Secondly, I'd like to thank the board for their support of this issue. We are proactively engaged trying to make our community a better place to live. We're very proud of our little community out there, and we really appreciate the board's support in loaning this money to us to get this project underway and to get this issue resolved. And hopefully we can come back soon with a longer-term solution for a broader-based support for our water system out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope, the Rolling Hills is very interested, in how you're going through your 218, the fees and all that stuff. But I'd really like to have you guys set an example and really look at preventive maintenance. I noticed that the first well failed June last year, and to me, in any kind of factory, you have preventive maintenance. So you actually go down and scope these wells at a certain time of maybe 5 years or whatever. So you wouldn't have this problem that you're having now with this one well. And I looked at the report, and you had so much calcium that it actually sucked the tubes in. And so, I mean, we really need to come up with some kind of preventive maintenance schedule on all of our special district wells. So we look at it and consider that part of the 218 vote. So I think we would have prevented this one from happening. We would have been a little bit more proactive, and probably wouldn't have cost as much. So thank you. I'll bring it back to the board.
And also, one thing, before I make my motion, I just wanted to point out in dealing with, in these internal discussions, talking with our treasurer, tax collector, Tracy Kennedy, we started looking at the bond that Rolling Hills is paying out on, and it's at like a 5.8% interest rate. At rates where they're at now, we could refinance that to probably around a 2% interest rate, which will pay for this project plus other projects to come. So, you know, sometimes these emergencies, we're going to get some really good stuff out of it. And now, you know, for other districts, we need to look at where all of our bonds are and refinance where we can to have some of those savings. So this money is going to be paid back quickly, and I don't think if we're able to refinance that bond, that probably won't be a portion of the 218 election process. So that's some good news, I think, to the residents of Rolling Hills, and hopefully to other residents within Madera County when we can find savings like that. I think we're doing our jobs. So with that, I'd like to make a motion that we approve item 6K.
Second.
I have a first from Brent, a second from David. Call for the vote.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
I'd like to make...
Thank
I
you
would
for
like
being
to,
patient.
Yeah, I really appreciate you coming. I really do, because it shows community activity, and Rolling Hills is an awful nice area, and I really do appreciate you coming. The other thing I want to mention real fast, pay attention to the special meeting coming up on the 31st. It is an evening meeting, and pay attention to the subject, please. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Let's go back to 6.
It's about solid waste and
solid waste and stuff. It should be interesting to you. So, okay. 31st is Tuesday after. Okay. Okay, and let's go back to let's take a 5-minute break. So if you guys want to leave or whatever, so we don't interrupt the.
Here's what happens.
Can we have quiet, please?
And it says these must be complied with in this way.
Yell at them. Can we please have order here so we can get on with our meeting? Rolling Hills people? Hey, Ralph. You can't hear me.
Hey, guys, if you can take it into the...
Hey! Ralph! We're going to take a meeting. Out!
Thank you.
That place is soundproof right there.
Yeah.
Get the shit out of here, man.
Okay. 6A.
6A.
Thank you.
Proclamation declaring May 15 through 21, 2016, National Public Works Week in Madera County. Whereas the Public Works Department provides services for our community county and are a vital, integral part of our citizens' everyday lives. And whereas the support of the community is vital to the efficient operation of public works systems and programs such as water, sewer, streets, fleet maintenance, building maintenance, wastewater treatment, solid waste collection, and airport operations. And whereas the health, safety, and comfort of this community greatly depends on these facilities and services. And whereas the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as their planning, design, and construction, is vitally dependent upon the efforts and skill of public works officials. And whereas the efficiency and effectiveness of the qualified and skilled staff contribute to the quality of life that residents and visitors alike enjoy and rely upon from the County of Madera. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Madera County Board of Supervisors that we recognize and extend appreciation to our dedicated and skilled staff, and hereby proclaim the week of May 15 through 21, 2016 as National Public Works Weeks. And may it be further proclaimed that the Madera County Board of Supervisors requests that all citizens and civic organizations acquaint themselves with the issues involved in providing public works services to our community, and to recognize the contributions which our public works employees make every day to our health, safety, comfort, and quality of life.
Was that too long also? Was that too long?
Thank you, Ms. Cargill. It's longer than my speech, but I appreciate it. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Ahmad Al-Kayat, Public Works Department. I'll just read a little thing that I put together with the help of some staff. May 15th to the 21st, 2016, National Public Works Week celebrate and honors the tens of thousands of men and women in North America who provide and maintain the infrastructure and services collectively known as public works. The American Public Works Association started National Public Works Week in 1960 to call attention to the importance of public works in community life. The week seeks to enhance the prestige of the unsung heroes of our society who serve the public good every day with quiet dedication. The County of Madera is proud to highlight its efforts through infrastructure improvements and environmental sustainability. As one part of the new development services team, our operations include the planning, building, operating, and managing of necessities of our local community. It is with pride that the Public Works Department continues to grow and become even more flexible to provide prompt and professional assistance to our constituents. Please join me in celebrating National Public Works Week, and I'd like to present this year's poster, and the theme is Public Works, Always There. And thank you.
Not bad. Not very nice. Did you draw it?
Yeah. No, it's from the National Public Works Week, from the APWA.
Very good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I'd like to present this to you.
Oh, nice.
Rhonda, would you like to?
read this already. Let's get a picture.
Rhonda, you need to get in this picture with Ahmad.
Come on, Rhonda.
Ahmad, do you have a backhoe that you can dig yourself out of your hole?
Yeah, just make a call. I like those public work videos.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. 6B.
6B, Auditor Controller Department, hearing to consider approval of resolution approving property tax administration costs and fees for fiscal year 2015-2016.
Jim and Todd, you guys make a good
Yes.
pair.
Right, he's put me on the spot today. Jim Boyadjian, Assistant Auditor Controller, retired. And today we are presenting the public hearing in the public hearing, the property tax admin fee calculation, which we do annually to recover county's costs all year. The assessor, tax collector, and auditor controller are billing property owners, collecting the property taxes, and apportioning it to all the taxing entities in the county. Law allows us to recover our costs. Every taxing entity in the county that receives property tax revenues pays us based on their percentage of the 1% tax that year, except for schools who do not have to pay. And that is what we're presenting today for the board's, actually for the public hearing. So that's basically the comment I have today. Any questions?
Question from the board? Did you say that the schools don't have to pay it?
No, they do not.
Why is it on the breakdown here?
Because we have to apportion the costs to them as though they were paying it, so everybody has to be in the calculation.
So it actually comes out of our pocket then?
Yes.
Because there's a lot of money right there, right?
Yes.
Big time.
We'd like to get it, but, that's a Sacramento issue, basically.
We got to talk to Frank Bigelow, tell him to change that law.
Right.
He can change those things.
Yeah, he'll do it. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any questions from the board? No? Seeing from the public? Bring it back to the board.
I move we approve item 6B and get some of our money back. Thank you guys for the good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Got a first from Tom, second from Brett. Call.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli?
Yes.
Vote passes 4-0, 1 absent.
Tracy, did you feel okay with that? Did they do a good job? Well, I caught her off guard.
Okay. 6C.
6C, County Administration Department, discussion and consideration of approval of a budgetary adjustments policy.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Kevin Freeze with the Administrative Office. The item before you is a request to revise a policy that was originally approved by the Board of Supervisors in 2004. The 2004 action primarily delegated authority to the CAO to approve budget transfers between major categories within a departmental budget in an amount not to exceed $5,000. In comparison, administrative staff recently conducted a survey of 8 other counties in the San Joaquin Valley Regional Association of California Counties to ascertain the administrative transfer approval limit. Of the 8 surveyed, 5 had authority to approve transfers in any amount between major categories, with some restrictions on fixed assets. 1 has a limit of $10,000, and 2 counties require board approval on all transfers. Given the relatively low threshold amount and the overall size and complexity of the county budget, the policy revisions are recommended. The proposed revisions to the policy would allow for transfers within the same department in a cumulative amount not to exceed $50,000 in a fiscal year. This was previously or currently is $5,000. Transfers cannot create new fixed asset accounts. That's no change. That maintains that criteria. It allows for transfers to fixed asset appropriations which were previously approved by the board but cannot exceed 10% of the original appropriation amount. This was not previously in the policy, but this basically is necessary due to price fluctuations from the original budgeted amount. A lot of times when we prepare the budget, it's in February, March, April timeframe, and when they purchase the asset, it's usually July, August, September, and sometimes there's price fluctuations from the original amount budgeted. Overall appropriations of a budget organization or total of all budgets within a department cannot be increased. Additionally, we are requesting authority to approve all transfers within capital projects budget, and this is primarily due to accounting classification requirements and is in accordance with the following guidelines. The capital project budget and scope has been approved and total appropriations established through prior board approval, and the overall appropriations of the capital project budgets are not increased. Adopting the proposed policy revisions will allow for more efficient processing of limited budgetary adjustments and speed processing times for items that meet policy criteria. The Auditor Controller's Office has reviewed and is in agreement with the proposed policy. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board?
Dave? The only question I have is I love the efficiency. It's a good thing, but the transparency issue, about from going from 5 to 50,000, to me, it's basically a part of economics. And 2004, this was voted on. Now it's 2000. What is it anyway? 2016. And if you just take the percentage and bring that up under a percentage factor, 50,000 is a good number. I think so too. The other question I have is how are the accumulation totals going to be tracked?
By department.
Department?
For example, the Sheriff Department has, I think, 15 or 16 different budget orgs that they have. So they're limited to $50,000 within the entire Sheriff Department. Okay. So we will track each transfer.
Okay. So the auditor will blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can transfer that. Sounds good. All right.
Any from the public?
Yeah, so there's still checks and balances. There's still, this isn't like
Absolutely.
you get a blank check and no one ever sees it, or it gets touched by a lot of people and still is seen. I just want to point that out.
That's correct.
Yep. Thank you. Bring it back to the board.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a first from Brett, second from Tom. Call for the vote.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you, Kevin. 6D.
6D, County Administration Department, Madera County Sports Complex. 1, discussion and consideration of entering into an amendment to agreement number 10529C 2015 with Sports Facility Advisory and an amount not to exceed $30,000 to assist the county in the development of a financially feasible public-private partnership to site, finance, construct, and operate the proposed Madera County Sports Complex. 2, discussion and consideration of approval of transfer of appropriations number 15-103 in the amount of $30,000, transfer from appropriation from contingency to planning, professional, and specialized services for fiscal year 2015-2016. 4 votes required.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Eric Fleming, County Administrator. About a year and a half ago, your board directed the formation of an enhanced economic development team that would work in conjunction with Madera County EDC. You directed this team, which included myself, Norm Allender, and a board member, depending on the area where the economic development was happening, to go out and seek new businesses and look for new economic development opportunities. One of the things that we thought had a lot of potential early on was the idea of growing our sports tourism in the county. We already do a really good job of other types of tourism. Sports made a lot of sense. We felt that there was an inadequate amount of certain types of facilities. So we were fortunate enough to come across some one-time monies to hire a specialized firm out of Florida to come out and do a study of our area and look at the sports demand and the impact that it would have on the local economy. They concluded their study and presented it to your board on April 5th of this year. And out of that came an estimated $18 million project, which included 8 full-size synthetic fields, 2 support facilities, including kitchen, restrooms, offices, maintenance facilities. It would be a lighted complex. It would also have 600 parking stalls. And the focus would be on soccer, lacrosse, which really hasn't taken off here yet, football, and rugby. and they felt that we could get the best return on investment by focusing on those particular areas. They felt like we could draw teams from Northern California, from Southern California, as well as meet the demand in Central California. What the study also showed was that in the first 5 years, this sort of a complex could conservatively generate over $35 million in positive economic impact in the area. If you subtract out the annual cost for operations and maintenance and debt service, which is about $8.7 million during that same period of time, you still are net to the good on economic impact, I believe, of over $26 million. Now, the challenge is going to be if a complex like this comes to Madera County, is keeping that economic benefit in the county and not allowing it to bleed to neighboring counties. So where the report left off was they made 2 general recommendations about possible locations for the complex. One would be out in the Rio Mesa area, Avenue 12 roughly, and Highway 41, and the other would be in the City of Madera area. So where we are today, we have the report. It shows that a complex like this would get you a significant return on investment. The challenge, though, is finding the right location, preventing the economic benefit from bleeding outside of the county, and ultimately financing this sort of a complex, and whether or not the county or other public entities want to stay involved in this process and partner with private entities for some sort of public-private partnership to develop this complex, or if you simply, at the end of the day, say that it's a good report, it shows that this can happen, and you leave it up to the private sector to sort it out. So what we are recommending today is that we continue the dialogue with SFA, the group that helped us put together the report, and we're going to have them come out, and we're going to arrange a series of meetings. And we'll notice it. We've already had a number of people come to us with real interest in partnering to develop this sort of complex, so we'll schedule some serious meetings and see what people really have to offer up, whether it's property, capital, and how that might work in some sort of public-private partnership. And we feel like we can do that within the $30,000 recommended today, which does come out of your reserve, because we don't have a one-time source to finance this. So with that, I'm available for questions.
Any comment from the board?
There's also been discussions looking at other areas and talking with SFA where there are some private monies that would pay for those ongoing costs, instead of the subsidy coming from the county, it would come from development or other interests. Is that?
Yes, sir. Supervisor Frazier, that's exactly right. And some of the feedback we've received from more than one private developer is that, don't let that annual subsidy scare you. Maybe it's a bad thing in other areas, but if this development comes together right with private development, it does 2 things. It brings a private partner who may be willing to either share or cover that deficiency every year if they're allowed to develop hotels and restaurants and things around the complex. I think that's going to be real important for us to partner with private development in order to make this thing feasible. Otherwise, we're looking at between, I believe it was $1.6 to $1.8 million a year that just the tournaments and all the associated things with tournaments at the actual facility would fall short of covering. So you are, if you just strictly went out and you financed it, it did an $18 million bond, we would come up short over $1.5 million a year at this point. So it's going to be real important to partner with private entity, private sector.
Yeah, I think you said the mathematical formula right there, and that is that government is here to remove roadblocks, and that's what we're trying to do in preparing this situation. This is not something we just invented. This was brought to us by private industry to begin with, so that's was the impetus for it, and we continue to make an effort to find a way to for private industry to fund this and partner. Our partnership part may be removing more roadblocks or even contributing in kind where we maybe drop the value of fees or what have you on something like that. We can afford to do that when you're stimulating the economy with such heavy benefits. And so, yeah, I think you said the right things there in that regard. And if we have people that are ready and willing to donate land, we have people that are ready and willing to contribute a whole bunch of different things to this. And it's such a big puzzle. It's very difficult to put the pieces together without a lot of partners in this thing. So I think we're doing very well on that. We need to continue to walk, but cautiously. We're not going to do what Fresno did and get hamstrung with a deal. So,
Mexico first.
You know, the only problem, Eric, with what you advocate, what's your suggestion with private developers to, I call it, provide the land site? In this case, it would be more like, we want to make it a Madera project. And if you go so far down 41, then it doesn't become it becomes a Fresno project. Any way you look at it, it's going to be a Fresno project. It's not going to identify with Madera County, believe me. The hotels are on that side of the river. So you know where the people are going to be at. You know, so we don't gain too much out of this. You know, the site I would advocate is if we're going to go out there, the Rolling Foothills is 145.
41? 145 and 41?
145 and 41. Yeah. Right there, that would be a beautiful site right there. And that would be in both Fresno, would be in Madera. I know it's more expensive, but the way I see it, we want to keep it a Madera site. And maybe we can talk to some of the people that are planning to develop around that area that maybe they could cooperate with our goal.
Yeah.
So it's just an idea.
Good. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. But, you know, the county, we've done a lot of feasibility studies in the past, and a lot of times it says something's feasible, and then we take that really pretty study that cost us $150,000 to $250,000, and we put it on a real pretty shelf, and it just sits there and gathers some more dust. And here we have one that they have, what is it, like a 80% rate that they turn down and say these aren't feasible. Yes. And then they found ours would be feasible. Not only would be feasible, but it would be a good project. And if we just stop here and don't take that next step, then even though that was one-time money, it's a waste of one-time money. We just paid for a bunch of paper with some words on it and put it up on a shelf. I think we have to make this investment, look at public-public partnerships. If we want to make it a Madera project, we need to talk to the city of Madera. Yes. We need to talk to Madera Unified School District. If it's going to be at 145 and 41, we talk to Chawanakee School District. We talk to Golden Valley Unified School District. Yep. We see if it's going to be over there and there's going to be a benefit for Fresno. Fresno should pony up and put in some money. We need to spend this money so that we don't waste the money that we've already spent. We need to keep pushing this forward so that we can create more economics here. You know, with the subsidy, a lot of people may give us criticism if it's going to be subsidized, but if it's helping businesses here in Madera County, whether they be hotels, restaurants, gas stations, helping people by bringing in new people, that's part of our job too, is to make sure that the people that chose to put their businesses in Madera County have our help to bring in more people to make their businesses thrive even more. So I don't want to just waste a perfect opportunity because we get stuck at a point. We have to start pushing forward through these issues and actually following through with them, not just finding a study and then saying, remember that study we had 10 years ago? It was cool, wasn't it? You know, that doesn't get anything done. So if we go to the public, but I'd be ready to make a motion.
Okay. I'd like to make a comment real quick. And you know, we do get, you know, hammered on some of these decisions. But I think 2 years ago, this board basically saw that as far as the city of Madera, some of the bad decisions that probably 2004 to 2010 city council has basically hurt the city of Madera as far as the industrial park that was supposed to go where it's at now, and then the casino that we basically got delayed. And the sad part about it is there were several hotels that were going to be built on 17, and we're going to have a Target and all that stuff. And I would like to see it really on that property, on the 300 property. And 300 acres would be perfect for them. It would develop that whole area. It would move the city north like it should be moved, because we got to get away from El Paseo that the non-performance of the city council got us over here. So now we're the bedroom community of Fresno. So I think we really got to look out for all the citizens of Madera and try to build up the city of Madera at the same time. So I think the county is being proactive, spite some of the decisions of the city. But anyway, that's my opinion, and I think that one of the things that we looked at, we weren't bringing industrial in, we weren't bringing any kind of restaurants or hotels and stuff like that in, so we looked for the sports area to bring it in. We've tried stuff up at Oakhurst, we've tried different groups, and I think this is going to be, and I know that talked to a lot of the, I think we need to partner up with Madera Unified and the county and to push the county Board of Education, push this through, because I know they're interested in using the fields for their new high school. So if you put it on 17, they'd be able to use it right there at their brand new high school also. So that's my 2 points. So anything from the public? Sure.
Hello, my name is Helen Brom from Course Gold, and I would just like to address this need for investing in a sports facility, which I can see there could be a need locally. I would, of course, like to second the ideas here about not putting it in the southern part down towards Fresno, and definitely not out towards 41 and 145, which even in that area puts it as close to Fresno. I also, though, don't know how much water. I hear money being spent, money possibly being invested, and I hear, well, motels in the area that might benefit, restaurants that would possibly benefit, but I don't hear any idea about what kind of water need is going to be addressed with 8 athletic fields. And I would like to seriously question that.
So,
Excuse me for splitting the infinitive.
And so in the initial feasibility study, I think Normal will.
That's a lot of water.
Yeah, the water.
Especially if you take it off the 41, 145 area,
Well, he has
which
some
is
answers
also.
for you on that. That'll, I think, clear up your. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the board. Yes, the topic of water came up at every meeting along the way in the feasibility study. The fields and the types of fields, the water usage was first and foremost in our minds. Everything we do, we always look at the fiscal budget. We also look at the water budget on that. So, yes, it's absolutely been looked at, how to reduce the water usage, how to make sure it is a showcase facility, not for just performance, but also for water performance. Yes.
And I can tell you in the meetings, Supervisor Rogers and I were there, and I mean, every other word out of his mouth was water. About, you know, what are we? So when we had actually brought the actual feasibility study, there was a very intense discussion regarding it. This is just to continue to look into implementing that feasibility study, and you'd be able to get a copy of the feasibility study that actually talks about the water here at the government center.
Right. One of the components of that is is artificial grass, using the artificial turf. And they even had every element of that down pat. They've done this before, and they know what they're talking about. So it's really, really, feasible water-wise based on that. They made a very good case of those circumstances. So I was like Brett said, both of us hammered that issue pretty hard. So.
Just like any other developer, just like Riverstone, they'd have to go through all the
water balance
and all that stuff too. So I'm very.
That addresses the water for the fields. What is about the extra demand from the restaurants, the motels, and the other sewage treatment plants from the water being drunk in those facilities?
Yep.
It's all part of it.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public? Bring it back to the board.
I move that we approve.
Second.
Got a first from Brett, a second from Tom.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Okay. 6E.
6C, County Administration Department end-of-year budget adjustments. 1, discussion and consideration of approval of transfer of appropriations number 15-099 in the amount of $115,340 for various budgets in the County Local Revenue Fund. 4 votes required. 2, discussion and consideration of approval of receipt of unanticipated revenue number 15-100 in the amount of $2,525,032 for various budgets in the General Fund for FY 2015-16. 4 votes required.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Kevin Freeze with the administrative office. The item before you is basically the year-end budget cleanup. We've had some items that were not budgeted this year, and that was the compensation study approval for the public safety personnel. That was effective January 1st of this year. The furlough settlement payments, and as well as the vacation and sick leave payouts for people terminating employment with the county.
CAO. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were finished.
Almost. The total transfer for general fund is $2.5 million. We have $400,000 in departmental revenue. The remainder will be coming from since the Chancellor opened in late December, that we were now receiving those revenues again, so that will be used to offset these costs.
Thank you. Sorry, Jim. Eric?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the sake of transparency and full disclosure, there is one item that will be coming back to your board for to consider an adjustment. It's just going to take more of a presentation, and it's got more detail to it, and that deals with the county council budget.
I think that's going to make the
So that's not part of this?
So that's not part
of this. That is not part of this.
I just wanted to be clear that that was the one item that wasn't included in the overall.
Yeah, I'm sure, and as we close out the year, there will be some additional budgetary adjustments. This is, of course, $2.5 million, a major adjustment for budget, so this will be the biggest.
Anything from the board? Anything from the public? Bring it back to the board.
Move to approve item 6E,
Second.
1 and 2.
Got a first from Tom, second from Max. Call for the vote.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you.
6F.
6F, County Administration Department, Human Resources Operations Division. Amendment to Information Technology Classification Plan and Position Allocations. 1, discussion and consideration of approval to amend the classification plan by adding the class of Information Technology Division Manager. 2, discussion and consideration of approval to set the salary at range 336, $6,715 to $8,162 per month, $84,613 to $97,950 annually, $38.74 to $47.09 per hour for Information Technology Division Manager. 3, discussion and direction to designate the Information Technology Division Manager class as overtime exempt pursuant to the Fair Labor Standards Act. 4, discussion and direction to allocate the Information Technology Division Manager class to the Mid-Management Bargaining Unit. 5, discussion and direction to Human Resources Operations Division of County Administration to reallocate the following employee who is classified as the Assistant Director of Information Technology to the class of Deputy Chief Information Officer, Bruce Lorimer. 6, discussion and direction to Human Resources Operations Division of County Administration to amend the position allocation within the Office of Information Technology as follows. A, add 3 full-time positions and designate the allocations to the newly established class of Information Technology Division Manager. B, fund 2 out of the 3 newly allocated positions.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the Board. Adrienne Caleb reporting this morning on behalf of Administration. The requests that are before you are presented as a result of a needs assessment that was conducted by your new Chief Information Officer. In January of 16, your board went and approved a reorganization that included the change of the Department of Information Technology's name, as well as the change of the name of the department head to Chief Information Officer. And Ms. Tanya Say is here to answer any questions that you may have. But essentially, the request for the new position of the IT Division Manager is a position that is slated to oversee the 3 major divisions of the Office of Information Technology. And it is hoped, that the development of this new class will improve service levels there in the department, or excuse me, the Office of Information Technology, as well as provide delivery and oversight to the functions of the office. Lastly, I just wanted to speak about the request for the change or the reallocation of Mr. Bruce Lorimer from the position of Assistant Director of IT to the position of the Deputy of Information Technology. And the request before you was already approved by the bargaining unit as well as the Civil Service Commission last month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Tanya Say, Chief Information Officer. Thank you for considering this request, and thank you for looking at the Office of Information Technology and understanding that we do need that level of management in our department. And I'm available for any questions.
Just want to thank you for coming in and really just straightening that department up. It's just been really nice. I don't even have to ask anymore, did they go through IT? So it's kind of neat.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's ever any issues anymore. It's
I know.
And I think you've got the right person for the job, too.
Yeah.
And I like your view on succession planning, so I really appreciate you doing that also. I think this will help that part of that department, so thank you. Anything from the public? Bring it back to the board.
Move to approve. Move to approve.
Okay. Got a first by Max, second by Brett.
Yep.
Thank you.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, all of you.
6G.
Mr. Dexter.
6G, Community and Economic Development, Environmental Health Division. Discussion and consideration of approval of a resolution appointing Ann Rowland as a retired annuitant to the position of Senior Environmental Health Specialist, waiving the 180-day wait period from date of retirement and making findings in support thereof effective May 1, 2016.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Dexter Marr, Environmental Health Division. I just want to do a quick clarification. On your recommended action, I did have Supervising Environmental Health, and that is a typo, and it should be Senior Environmental Health Specialist. And that does reflect on our resolution. And I apologize for that typo. So Ann Rowland has been a dedicated staff within our Environmental Health Department. She has worked with us for 22 years, and she is a resident of Madera County. The last 15 years, she has been program manager within our CUPA program, which oversees the Hazardous Material Division, which is underground storage tank, hazardous waste facilities, and hazardous material facilities. And also within 10 years, she's also been our certified lead program investigator for Madera County. We believe that it would be beneficial for her to return to oversee some of our compliance issues that are ongoing within our department. And I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
County Council?
I just want to clarify that the typo was in the board letter and not the resolution.
That is correct.
Back to the board.
Move we approve item 6G.
Any questions from the public first? You have a second? Okay. first from Tom, second from Max.
And thank you, Dexter, for
Thank you, Dexter. Thank
moving up and getting that going, too.
Thank you.
Got great people now, you know that, team?
Getting better every day.
Yep,
Call for the vote.
damn right.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez? Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli?
I'm going to vote yes because you know how I am about succession planning, but we had the manager retire early, and it was actually put on Dexter's plate, so I am going to vote yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Smart move saying they're from Madera, too. Very, very subtle. Well done. Just slid it right in there.
Okay, 6H.
Probation Department, discussion and consideration of approval of a resolution appointing Linnell Toon as a retired annuitant to the position of Administrative Analyst 2, waiving the 180-day wait period from date of retirement and making finding in support thereof effective August 1st, 2016.
Good morning, Board. Rick Dupree. I'm here for my item is the same as the last item. It is a request to appoint a current employee who will be retiring soon to a retired annuitant position. As with the last employee, she is also a Madera County resident, a farmer, and a county employee. I have two administrative analyst positions, and both of them are retiring July 31st of this year, which is going to be a huge void in my department. We will be backfilling those positions August 1st, and I have 8 budgets worth over $15 million. I also oversee the Community Corrections Partnership budget and have to do the budgets for 6 other executive members through that CCP. So there's, as well as all the training for all my officers and staff. So you can see there's a huge workload there and a huge vacuum that's going to be created when these two retire. And so my plan is to bring back Linnell as retired annuitant to train these two positions, as well as take over continue to assume the duties of the account technician that's been vacant for over a year. She'll continue to do that job as well until I can get that position filled. Once I get that account technician position filled, and I guaranteed Eric Fleming it would be no later than December 31st of 2016, then Linnell would officially retire at that point.
Okay.
I hope it doesn't go to December 31st, but that's the latest I hope it goes to.
Tom?
Yeah, I mean, how many people you got working in your department?
I know it's over 100. It's probably about 115 if you include extra help.
Yeah, and all of a sudden these two are retiring. Why not the other person? What's the other person like that's retiring July 1st? You said.
Oh, Shelley Stinnett. She's my other administrative analyst.
You're not bringing her back?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm backfilling both those positions, and I only need one person to do the training for those two positions. And so I only need, they're basically going to be training, Linnell will be training those two administrative analyst positions that I'm bringing in, and then she'll also assume the duties of the account technician position. So I only need one person to do both.
And nobody else in your department can do that training?
Just Shelley and Linnell are the only two that can do that. They're the only ones that have experience doing
So where's your succession planning been, buddy?
Well, this is my succession plan because I'm trying to save money. Because my original succession plan I'd submitted to Eric Fleming was going to be pretty much revenue net neutral. This is going to save us several $1,000s per month during the succession, which I've been doing over the past 12 months because we've kept that account technician position vacant to save revenue.
Maybe we should have kept it going so that you wouldn't have to do this all at the end like this. So, which was better, and we had somebody in there already. So I'm not for this. I don't think, personally.
You need this, right?
Yes.
You can't do it without this, right?
No, I can't.
That's all I need. No.
Anybody else on the board? For the public? Bring it back to the board.
Rick, it's only for, you say the most is 6 months.
Exactly.
6
That would be
months.
the
Maybe
absolute
less.
most. Regardless if I'm able to fill that position or not, I've already told the CAO that I will vacate that position.
I move that we approve this item, 6H.
Do I have a second? Second.
Okay. Thank you.
Clerk of the Board, then you might just announce that the item failed for lack of a second.
Okay.
Item fails due to the lack of a second.
Okay, 6I.
Discussion and consideration of approval of the fee waiver request by Self-Help Enterprises for the capital improvement park fee collected at building permit issuance for the Self-Help Enterprise subdivision tract number 256.
Chairman, members of the board, Norman Allender here, Chief of Development Services, here with the Director of CED. This is a request out in Parksdale from Self-Help Enterprises. As you know, they have the first phase of the multifamily and the second phase of the multifamily done. The first phase of the single family, which are the self-built ones where the families build their own homes, that's about to start. They did construct a park as a part of this development originally, and pursuant to state law, they are entitled to certain concessions as a low-income group or builder, and they asked for the park fees to be waived primarily because they already is a park in the neighborhood. So staff supports this presentation. It is consistent with the state law for affordable housing.
And we've done these before, right?
Yes, we have done these before for this project, yes, this type of thing, yes.
That's what I thought.
Norman, that's a, well, I'll use the word beautiful. That's a good project over there.
It's a great project, absolutely.
Yes,
Yes,
and
sir.
the people really take,
and all.
the people really take care of their property.
They do. Self-help is a very strict landlord, and on the rental part, they do not put up with very much. No,
Yeah,
they don't.
and the good part about it is that they have donated some of their time when they're building homes.
On the single-family side, that is
Yes.
those are owned by the families who build them, yes.
That is great, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm all for that fee waiver.
Yes.
Anybody else from the board? Bring the public?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have a, who's second? Tom?
I did, yeah.
Call for the vote, Supervisor Rodriguez. Call for the vote, Supervisor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler.
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers.
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier.
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli.
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Okay. And we did 6K. Okay, no hearings?
We pulled 6J, right?
Yep.
Yes. Mhm.
We already approved 6A. Okay, pending legislation?
Before we move any further into the off agenda or act to the other items, I'd like to move to reconsider the item. What was the item?
6H.
6H.
Second.
It's 6A.
Call for the vote, Supervisor Frazier.
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers.
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli.
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez.
No.
Supervisor Wheeler.
No.
Vote passes 3-2.
I think we're leaving Rick in a world of hurt if we don't do this. We just passed the other one. He has a succession plan. It's going to save money. I think we should do that. With that, I'd like to move that we approve 6H.
I'll second the motion.
Call for the vote, Supervisor Frazier.
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers.
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez.
No.
Supervisor Wheeler.
No.
Supervisor Farinelli.
Everybody knows how I am about succession planning, and this basically is leaving probation, which is one of our outstanding departments, on a bind, so my motion is yes.
Vote passes 3-2.
I had my thing up here. I agree it's not good for Rick to be doing this, but I think that he said that he's known for almost a year that they were going to retire. I think somebody should have had somebody working on this. I just, it just bothers me. We've had all these other classes doing these things, and then all of a sudden this one comes up with this.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, and I think we made our point by earlier.
I agree with Dave. I think right now it's good that I'm really pleased with the board that's looking at all this and the annuity program that we've had for years and years. And I really appreciate all the departments that are looking at succession planning. But again, I do not want to leave a great department that basically is the glue for the whole county and the city on a
deathbed.
short, short string. And plus, he has been saving money, and I don't want to send that message. But I think we've sent a very good message to all the departments now, after the last 6 months or so, that succession planning is part of the board. So, thank you. Max?
You know, Rick, I disagree with you because, you know, you can talk about it all you want, but if you don't take any action, then it doesn't make any difference. You know, you say you don't want that. All retirees are coming back, meeting after meeting. That's why you have 3 or 4, you know, they're coming back. They retire. To me, when somebody retires, hey, you retire and you go away. What's happening here, they retire, then they come back and double dip. Yes, he needs help. But the point is, if you're going to make if you have a principle, you got to stick by it and push it through. In other words, we're getting all these people coming back. We probably have 10 to 15 people here that are retired and coming back and double dipping.
And I understand that, and I'm the one that has to lead the succession planning.
You're saying that, but your action doesn't dictate that.
Max, we just voted for 2 more.
Max, you voted on 6G the same way.
Yeah, you just voted on 6G.
Yeah, that's the reason I got my thing down. The reason I said that, because that was a retirement that we didn't know was coming that soon. She wasn't going to retire for a couple of years. And most of these that we've redone that let the people come back has been people that came and all of a sudden decided to retire quickly. Not the ones that he said right there and said that he's known this is going to happen a year ago. He'd been working with Eric on it. Somebody should have been straightening this out. Dexter took this place over with, you know, I mean, look what we had to do for him just to be able to take it over.
Yeah, so
we made exceptions to have him be able to take it over.
So then we're telling our, in terms of if we want succession plan to be something important, what we're telling our employees is, don't tell anybody you're going to retire until the very end. Give your 2 weeks notice, like you're going to.
So that way you get to come back and get to be a thing. That's what's happening.
Then just wait until the last day, and then let us know you're retiring. I just don't see that as good succession planning either. But it's over now.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, pending legislation.
Pending legislation. 8A, Board of Supervisors, District Number 3, discussion and consideration of approval to send a letter of support of the Base Load Coalition and authorize the chair to sign a letter to CPUC supporting increased base load and flexible generation renewables as significant portion of California's renewal portfolio standard.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Robert Jeffers, Chief of Staff for District 3. The letter before you that's in the board packet is a letter to the CPUC urging them as part of California's renewable portfolio that they take a stronger stand in terms of including biomass, biogas, and geothermal in their plans and proposals. Currently, there have been several efforts to try and get these what are called base load. That means consistent, always on the grid. They're not peak and valley type energy sources like wind and solar. As a bigger part of the portfolio, but so far every effort has failed. So now there's kind of a collaborative effort of the counties who represent all of these different sources to try and lean on the CPUC to incorporate them. There's no binding obligation with this, but this is a kind of standard request of the state, and it is consistent with our county platform, and I can answer any questions.
Tom?
Yeah, thumbs up.
Okay with everybody? Okay. Thank you.
And then,
We need to do a call for the vote on this, please.
Okay.
We need a motion because it's consideration of approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
Having a first and a second from Brett and second from Tom.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Next.
And then, Mr. Chairman, and members of the board, I apologize for kind of late notice on this letter. We're trying to phase away and get these more properly incorporated in your packet, but we do have another letter, a letter of opposition to AB 2395. The reason it's taken so long to get the information on it is because there is a contentious nature to it, but because there's delay to the next meeting until June. We want to give your board the opportunity to speak about it. AB 2395 amends the Public Utilities Code relating to telecommunications. Currently, the PUC is prohibited from acting in matters regulating telecom services like VoIP and IP. This bill would authorize a telephone company currently operating legacy services, those are your hard landlines and switchboards, to phase these out by January 1st, 2020, following some very specific education outreach efforts. The certain features of a legacy service like 911 would be untouched by this, and the supporters are claiming savings in phasing out the old equipment and potential environmental benefits as a result. However, RCRC is leading in opposition to this due to concerns that it's going to impact rural and poor counties like ours. They are concerned about the timeline for which CPUC is going to review the decision to phase out these old systems. They're concerned about maintaining access, particularly in mountainous communities. And where technology may be available, they're also concerned about the increased costs that may be passed on to the users. It has passed one assembly committee, the Utilities and Commerce Committee. In bipartisan effort, there isn't a party line split on this. It's opposed by RCRC, 10 different rural counties, and the California PUC itself. However, it is supported by this California Chamber of Commerce, multiple regional and city chambers throughout the state, and AT&T, who obviously is going to benefit from this. And CSAC has yet to take a position. So the letter before you is a letter of opposition drafted on RCRC's language and open to direction from your board.
Yeah, I just, about, I don't know, 8-10 years ago, this came up so we could get high-speed telecommunications to our rural areas. And we fought to get that. And now all of a sudden, these idiots are trying to stop that. This is crazy. This is going to really hurt the poor people. Just almost like that road deal I was talking about earlier. I can't believe that they're even doing this. I mean, I really can't. And RCRC, I'm glad they're on it because this is the rural county that's going to get stuck again by the big cities. Nashville was a big city chamber before it. And hell, they probably got AT&T and Verizon, all of them give them big money. Hey, go fight this sucker, you know. Save us so we don't have to support our poor people out in the boonies.
Out of the rural communities into the bigger cities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
it's no difference from, to me, it's no difference from going from antennas on our TV with free TV and pushing it into a marketplace and basically going away from Reaganomics to a smaller market so you can raise your prices to whatever you want to raise them to also. And I think that's what the rural counties, that's how come RCRC opposes it, because it's going to cause the rural counties, the citizens, a lot more money to get their phones going, especially if you keep on reducing the size of the companies. So. David?
I did have a communication with AT&T on this and spoke with their local representative, and they framed it to me that they have no intention of getting rid of landlines, but that it's more that the customers are moving toward wireless systems all the time, and they don't want to invest in infrastructure for those landlines anymore while the technology is moving in a completely different direction. And when they framed it to me that way, it kind of, gave me pause on how we should approach this. I'd like for us to look into it a little bit more in the language of the bill to see what it actually determines concerning landlines, and to make sure that we're not, standing in the way of genuine progress here. I just want to be certain on that before we take this leap.
Robert,
Is there a way we could do that?
How much time do we have on this?
Unknown, Mr. Chairman. It's currently in Appropriations Committee, and from there it goes to the floor. We are moving towards the end of the session. I want to say July is when all bills have to be finalized.
So if we got a lot of time.
Yeah, there's not a lot of time.
Yeah, not a lot of time. But
Do you know what I'm talking about on that, and can you address that?
We can look into it. That's one of the reasons why there's been such a delay on it. For instance, a good friend of ours, Assemblyman Patterson, supported this legislation. He's typically
Yeah.
not friendly with the CPUC.
That's why I have a little pause about it. There's just I'm getting conflicting signals from so many directions, so.
Well, the thing that we depend on RCRC for the rural counties and defend the rural
To look
counties
out for
because
us.
we're so small.
Yeah.
And we actually belong to RCRC, and they have their own lobbyists, and they have their people that fight these things.
That's a good point.
To me, if they're opposing it, we should support RCRC more than we're supporting the opposition. So that's just my opinion.
I move we approve the oppose Assembly Bill 2395.
Second. Have a first and a second.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Pardon me. There's no, there's no actual item agendized.
Yeah, I just want to make one more comment on that. Ordinarily, I would agree with you, Rick. I know that we're depending on a staffer, a single staffer, for that RCRC opinion, and I want to just make sure. I'm really concerned about jumping on this too quick because I just want to make sure we maybe, I don't know. I don't feel ready to make a decision on that.
If we don't pass this, then can you bring up some information next meeting on it?
Yeah, I'll definitely have us. We'll look at.
I'm going to give you a thumbs up to get that information for us and see
Great.
what you find.
Do you want to bring it on the 31st?
Right.
Yeah, you could put it on the 31st.
Could we?
Can we do that? We can't do that.
Pardon me, you can add this item to your special meeting on the 31st, or it could come back on June 7th. It's up to the
I want to do
board.
it sooner because it could be in the hearing too. It could be while we're even doing talking.
Fine.
So
Yeah,
I don't want to
we'll
take
look
any
into
chance.
it.
31st or special?
Yes, you can. You can add it to the agenda. So, Robert, will you take care of that?
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I may end up right where you're at because when I first heard it, I was
We're directing you.
right where
I
you're
know
at.
you're campaigning to do that, but we're directing you to do it, buddy.
Thank you. Got it done.
You're the man.
Let's let the facts take us where they may.
And I got one too on
Okay, go ahead.
pending legislation. So I don't know if
Robert,
you guys.
anything else? Robert? That's it?
Thank you so much.
Have you guys heard about that lady, Miss Wolf? I forgot her first name. I've met with her about 4 times, wanting to do the Sierra Monument up here. It's been a movement for about 2 years, and they've been really pushing. So I've got some people that helps me out on this from the Forest Service, and so I called Dean Gould, the district supervisor in our area, and wanted to know what their request was this time. And so I've got 3 pages here of requests that they've requested that they have answers for. What's the 10 years logging you've done? It's really unbelievable. And one of their things is they got on their deal is saying they're caring for the land and serving the people. They're talking about from Sequoia over to Yosemite, all of our Sierras. And if they get that into a monument, we're literally screwed.
Yeah.
So I'm just bringing it up to you right now. I don't know, it hasn't come up, except now they're requesting all this. They had to have it in just this week, actually, all their answers. And if you guys want to look at some of these things, I can email them to you because they are very ugly.
That's
I'm just
unnerving.
telling you.
That's really unnerving.
It is.
A land grab.
She lives in Santa Clara. She don't live around here. She's not a Sierra person, but she's got, I don't know where she's getting her money from. I keep asking her, and she just says, I'm doing this on my own. You don't do this big of a deal on your own. I don't care who you are. Unless she's just rich. I almost said something, but I did say it.
So proud.
So anyway, it's something we really, as supervisors, need to really watch.
Yes, I agree.
Big time.
Thank you. Okay, any other legislation pending? Okay, supervisor report? Brett?
Just went to the Fresno Madera area on aging, Agency on Aging. And I'm going to the CSAC Legislative Conference this evening.
I into the JPA on the San Joaquin Water Infrastructure Authority. And we're moving. We're ahead of sites, reservoir, and possibilities look good. We're getting very good support from, it appears, from the not only the Bureau of Reclamation. There was a partnership formed recently with them, but from the Water Commission itself. Several of the commissioners have come to the meetings and talked about the project. I think we're moving really well.
Beautiful.
Chances are good to get that dam built. That's it.
We had a very good meeting Saturday. We invited Congressman Jim Costa to come in and assist us as far as the Mono Casino on S-17. We had a very good meeting, and apparently they were going to have a hearing on it, and they postponed it. They're going to reschedule it.
Have you found
Hopefully
out
they'll
for sure
pull
they
it.
have?
No, I think that'll happen Thursday.
Okay, because the 26th is when they're supposed to have the hearing, so we're hoping it
Yeah,
stops.
the 25th, I think they said we can have an answer, whether they're going to pull it or whatever happens. It's kind of unclear what's happening right now, but we're hoping that that they'll drop it.
Thank you. Yeah, I gave the proclamation from the board for the Mountain Relay for Life Saturday, and had a great turnout. It was really good. I don't know how much money they made yet, but it was really cool. They had some great teams, and Madera County, actually, our staff come up and had a team, so that was really nice. And if you guys want some great tri-tip, the sheriff, MC Alert, child fingerprinting, Operation Lost and Found Transmitters, CAL FIRE, Madera County Firewise, PG&E, Madera, Mariposa Offices of Emergency Services, Highway Patrol, Forest Service, and Ambulance. They're all having a barbecue. I'm going to barbecue the tri-tip. So it's from 1 to 4, and in Vaughn's parking lot, you can come and talk to all these different ones and get your kids fingerprinted and everything. It's be prepared, be fire aware. That's what the title of it is. So. What's that? Yeah. I told him, go ahead. Not a permit?
Please come to the microphone if you'd like to speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real time, how I got a permit.
Just real quick, I did continue my support on the Central Cal Truancy Summit in Tulare. I went there for a couple hours for a couple meetings. It was a huge meeting. It was the same meeting we had last May that basically improved our truancy rate here in the city of Madera. And I'm happy to see that they're moving forward. A lot of principals, a lot of superintendents, a lot of probation, all talking about truancy. And I'd like to keep focused. And C.C. Massetti basically wants to put our truancy team back together again because it's kind of lacking right now. So I'll be reaching out to the truancy team that we had in Madera and try to put that back together again.
It's funny that no one's showing up to the truancy meeting. They're being truant.
Yeah, no one was truant. Yeah. The other thing, I really appreciate Tom and the other city councilmen for showing up at the law enforcement memorial ceremony. Very, very well done. Kind of interesting that people that didn't show up, but anyway, and then don't laugh at me when you see my pink shoes on for Walk a Mile for the shoes for our outstanding Victim Services Department. And I also, it was so cute, it was obviously just nice and fluffy pink shoes. Feel like
Did you have your tutu on?
No tutu.
What?
I don't dress up like a pregnant fairy. So anyway, that's an inside joke. But anyway, I agree with Max. I think we had a very, very good meeting with Representative Costa. We had a presentation of all people there. We probably had over 40 people from the community show up, and I think he was very overwhelmed by the dedication of the group that was there to finally get our poverty rate in control, I'd say. And that's it. The other thing that, one more thing had a neighborhood watch, and I think the city has done an outstanding job on their, Jim Talbert and Katrina, or not Katrina, Christina on the neighborhood watch program. Andy had his neighborhood this time. Last night I was there till about 8:30, and very, very good presentation. I really think that some of our county, neighborhoods could really benefit from that program, especially like Rolling Hills and sections of, have different sections out at the Ranchos and Oakhurst. It's an outstanding program. It actually supports the police and the sheriff department, and just another set of eyes out there. And it was an outstanding program. It'd be something to look at.
I've already talked to Christina about trying to replicate it out there. She just can't go out there. I had one more thing. I just wanted to compliment Commander Allender and his VFW post for they won the Flatlanders Parade. They were they got a trophy and everything. So congratulations to them.
Woo. Very good. Rick, I found those questions. Just going to run some of these monument questions. Please send some kind of overview, roughly, how has money been used and spent over 10 years in the Sierra National Forest, logging and fuel reduction, looking for more clarification. Approximately one-third of timber operations are in support of public safety. Two-thirds is ecosystem. Let's see. A sawmill operator told me that only trees contractors can cut down in the forest are trees that have been marked by the Sierra National Forest. I mean, that's a given. Commercial loggers aren't given discretion. That's a given. Which 4 mammal species and 3 amphibians are classified as federal, threatened, endangered, or proposed are candidate species? I mean, this is the kind of stuff they're going after them with. I mean, you mentioned that people have worked to control yellow thistle, Scotch, and Spanish broom. What have you done? Pesticides? I mean, that's the kind of stuff they're asking. I mean, it is totally ridiculous. There's more, but I just...
Yeah, probably tons of it. Any comment on the supervisor report or the legislation from the public?
Dale Drozen, Fresno County. Supervisor Wheeler was speaking of the monument status coming up and said he was going to be sending documents to all of the other supervisors. Can I ask that it be put on an agenda? Could be under consent someplace so those documents go on the record and the public can see them as well, and it doesn't become a Brown Act violation communication between the 5 of you. But it's a very important matter. It needs to be looked at by all of the citizens.
Exactly.
And anything he comes up with, I'd like to be able to see online and go to it.
I have no problem with doing that. It just wouldn't be a Brown Act violation informationally, just so you know.
Okay.
Am I correct, County Council?
That's correct. If they actually discussed it and took action outside of
If we
here.
discuss it for emailing each other, then that's a problem.
But the chairman can decide whether to make it something that he adds to the agenda or not, based on your request.
Talk about that at the next agenda meeting. Thank you, Dale. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And is there any chance of getting a Wi-Fi hotspot in here just during the meetings so we can go to the backup? I can't hold it all on my computer.
It's on. I hook mine Wi-Fi every
I
time.
think the Wi-Fi is not very good here, and the cell service is not very good here. It's hard to get some of this stuff.
Well, you used to have Wi-Fi through the whole building, but you shut all that down. So,
No, we have to hook on to it every time we're in here. I do.
But you've got a password. I can't get into that system. It's locked.
Jay, is that true? Oh, okay.
You used to be able to come in, and I could go to the backup, go to anything in the county.
Okay.
That's off topic. Yeah, sorry.
Thank
We're
you.
just,
Thank you.
Sorry.
There's too much Netflix going on.
Okay.
The problem.
Well, thank you, everybody. And meeting adjourned, correct? Yep. We're done. Thank you.